Hey, so this morning I'm just laying here, right? Icing my knee, right? And I'm watching outside the window here. There's a window up there, and I counted at least four planes that I saw just laying it down, man, spraying it thick and heavy, just line after line after line across the skies, right? And I've noticed as I've been driving around over the last few weeks, before I got this surgery and that they were really laying it on thick, the crisscross patterns and everything up in the skies, right? And I'm not going to get too much into it. If you can believe it or not, it's not normal contrails. We never had like this. We know what's going on. They even talk about it, and they call it all different names. But the point is, they're poisoning us. The things in the air, that's what's killing the bees. That's what's killing the birds. That's what's messing up our fish, massive fish die-offs, bird die-offs, bee die-offs, all this. And another funny thing, like it seems like just this year or the latter end of this year, it's become so much worse, so much thicker and constant, daily, all day long. I mean, I've noticed that it's been on an uptick, right? Especially the last half of this year. And what's happened is my dog developed, like several months ago, actually. Probably around fall or the beginning of fall. She was itching a whole lot. Took her in the vet, and our vet said she's never seen so many animals come in, or that she's had to go see as well, that have had the same problem, and they're calling it an allergic reaction to something, in the atmosphere. It's an allergic reaction to something, and also I've noticed me and my wife. I've never had I think it was from the kitty litter, the micronized silicon that's was in your basic kitty litter that gets into your lungs, your nasal cavities, and your eye. Pores in your eye, your tear ducts, and everything else that cause styes. We've been getting a lot of styes. I don't know if anybody else is getting that too. Styes, and also just skin not feeling right, getting more rashes, like, or little breakouts of dry skin or itchy skin, whatever, itchy too, like the dog, like the animals. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. And go imagine it's because they've been spraying, it seems, a lot heavier than they've been before. Look, if you're a pilot and you're doing that, shame on you. You need to be disbarred, lose your license, and everything else. It ain't about getting paid. You know what's right and wrong. You know what's right and wrong, and that's BS if you're doing that. So whether it's sanctioned by our government or not, it is wrong, dead wrong. And it seems like it really picked up towards the latter half of this year. And also, what I've seen, I've had a lot of time to lay around and, really dig deep into alternative media and stuff. What I'm seeing, and I think it was Liberal Hive Mind that actually put it out there the other day, and he's on you right on YouTube, so you can catch it. I don't know if they'll keep it up, but they're tearing down the wall that Trump put up as fast as they can. They've been tearing it down section by section and hauling it somewhere way north and auctioning it off for pennies on the dollar, pennies, like cheaper than scrap steel. It's crazy. It's crazy. So okay, now they lost this election because of the border policies and the things that are going on. But yet right now they're still continuing to tear down the walls as quick as they can that were put up previously. And they're just tearing them down and basically just putting them in these big storage yards to rot and auctioning them off for less than scrap. So that's pretty crazy as well. Now, another thing to address is these drones, right? That they're seeing all over the East Coast, Jersey, and all that in that area. And people said they've even seen them coming out of the water. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about, and the government yet has no clue what they are. Well, looking at some alternative news sites, these are DARPA things that we can't even imagine that our government has. And what they are sensing devices to be able to sense. I don't know how to put this without it getting flagged or anything, but that can sense like the signatures of a certain compounds that are used for things that mass casualty things, right? weapons of mass destruction. Okay, now let's not forget that back in Obama's administration, when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, they completely bypassed Congress because it was signed off by Obama, and that isn't even illegal. What they did, they completely bypassed Congress and sold a crap ton, like I don't know how much, but a lot of our surplus of enriched uranium. I'll put it that way. Maybe it won't get picked up. I don't know. Anyway, so they sold a bunch of it to Russia. So who's in whose pocket here? What's going on? It's all about money. They're all part of a club and we ain't in it. Okay? But I do believe there's good guys and bad guys fighting this war, and you're either feeding from the lies and deception of this world, living in a delusional, woke world where you're just consuming the lies of the media, or you've been awakened and you're starting to actually notice that things aren't what we've been told they are. Okay, seeing all the lies and deception. And the weird thing is you can see it. You can see the truth starting to trickle out with Epstein and Diddy and all these things that are happening, that are being exposed. What these elite people, your movie stars, athletes, even singers and bands and people in high positions of power, whether it's state or the federal government, what they've been doing. The truth is leaking out big time, and that's what brings, because Revelation is basically like it's the unveiling of the truth of something that's been hidden. It's the lifting of the veil. Okay, and we're seeing that start to happen. And years ago, and this has nothing to do with me, okay, nothing to do with me at all, but years ago God told me that these evil, wicked people would even start World War III. They're trying to start a civil war, and they will try to divide the people, basically a civil war, and even start World War III, so their evil and wicked deeds will not be exposed. And believe me, if you ever looked into Frazzle Drip or anything like that, then when I first heard what was on those tapes that made grown detectives fall to their knees and cry and walk out of the room puking, okay, from what I've heard, I can see why. I could never imagine a human being could do these things to children, let alone another human being in general, but to children, okay? So there's so much crap going on that people just refuse to believe. And the problem is, this is the biggest problem, because people don't want to know. They don't even care to know. They don't even want to hear it. They don't want to think about it. And the Bible says that our biggest problem is the darkness that takes over us, our minds and hearts and everything. It's willful ignorance. Willful ignorance. You are willfully ignorant. You're choosing to stay willfully ignorant. You don't even want to know the truth or hear the truth. You don't even want to hear it. It upsets you. It offends you. And we can totally see that happening. So, look, if these are DARPA, some type of seek out sensing craft that are scanning over certain areas, right, on our East Coast, and I've heard that it's occurring in other places as well. What was let out on alternative media is that when Obama and Clinton brokered this deal to sell this enriched stuff to make mass casualty event weapons, they earmarked something, like they kept some back. Okay, they kept some back in case they needed it. Okay, for what? For what? To start World War III? But the thing is, see, it was earmarked for Russia. But see, this stuff has isotopes, right? So they can trace it back to where it came from. Now, if this stuff was earmarked for Russia, but yet they held a little, just enough back to make some, like suitcase sized or whatever, and they set it off, they can, my dog's trying to climb up here. All right. So they could use that to point, all right, dog, come on, dog. They can use that stuff to, I don't know what she's. So anyways, they could use that to point the finger right back at Russia when they were the actual culprits. Okay, this could very well be happening. So if you're listening, Trump, RFK Jr., You need to stop this spraying. It's causing all kinds of problems, and they've been doing it for decades now, and this needs to end. Florida's passing a ban against it. Tennessee passed a ban against it. We need to stop Canada from bringing their trash over here into Michigan too. Why are, with all the real estate that they have up there, and their population is far less than the United States, why are they dumping their trash over here in the United States, especially in Michigan? Why? That needs to end. Our government has sold us out. Who knows what they're actually bringing over? It could be far worse than what we're told it is. It's the craziest thing. Why would we allow that? Okay, so the spraying, the trash, and these things that are flying around that the government supposedly has no clue what they are, but yet it's not harmful to us. It could be our own Defense Department, high-tech search and seek out drones or whatever they are that can sense these isotopes or whatever these things are to try to prevent a mass casualty event. And they're just trying not to put the public in panic. So that's my take on that from the information I've been seeing. Could it be true? It's starting to, everything's looking like it's falling into place. And we are on the timeline biblically. Look, and I know a lot of people, as soon as they hear the Bible, they want to turn it off. Look, he reveals that it's his word by all the prophecies, over 2,000 that have occurred exactly on time, even named exact names, people by name, hundreds of years before they came to be, and all this that would happen, and everything has happened perfectly. And he told us, the generation sees Israel become a nation again will not pass. And a generation is 70 as it's defined. I forget what book, Numbers, Leviticus, something like that. Okay, 70, or by strength another 10. So about 70 to 80 years. We are exactly in that time frame now, because Israel became a nation again in 1948. And he said he declared the end from the beginning. Okay, so 6 days created the heavens and earth, the seventh he rest. But at 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8, he says, brethren, do not be ignorant of this fact. One day to the Lord is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as one day. So understand that one. Don't be ignorant of this fact. So a man is allotted a 6,000 year period before they're judged and Christ returns and sets his kingdom up. Okay, so how many years have passed? All right, from Adam to Abraham was 2,000. Abraham to Jesus Christ was 2,000. From Jesus Christ to now has been another 2,000. We are basically on the morning of the third day. We are on the beginning of the seventh millennium, right? And in the Jewish culture, any part of a day is still considered that day. So, because Christ rose from the dead on the third day, but yet he was crucified on that Friday, supposedly, but so you count Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He rose on the morning of the third day. Right now, we're in the morning of the seventh millennium, but we're actually on the morning of the third day, if a day to the Lord's 1,000 years since Christ was crucified, right, and rose from the dead. And what happens? His body was risen from the dead. The body of Christ was risen from the dead, right? And who's the body of Christ now? His people. Understand that. And I'm not replacing us with him or anything, but his church is the body of Christ, and we're supposed to be raised in the morning of the third day, right? And we're right there. And plus, when he delayed 2 days before he went and raised Lazarus, his friend who he loved, right, he delayed 2 days, got there on the third day, raised him from the dead. I mean, there's so much foreshadowing in the Bible. It's perfection, but you can only understand it if you study it, if you care to know the truth, if you want to know the truth, by taking a deeper look at every word, because there's spiritual meaning hidden within the text. It has a physical story of what occurred. It's history that was written down, right? His story, okay, that was written down over thousands of years by over 40 different authors that gel perfectly, okay? And every prophecy has happened and came true perfectly. That's how he proves, one way that he proves it's his word. There was over 100 prophecies about the Messiah, and that Jesus, he fulfilled every single prophecy about the Messiah. That's impossible, but he did it. He did it. So he is God incarnate, the word that was made flesh. You got to understand, You got to look at the Strongs, the BDB, the Thayers, the Mounts. Look at every word. They're assigned numbers, right? Every word in the Bible is assigned numbers. But you have to be, only the Spirit can reveal the truth that's contained, the spiritual truth that's contained in His Word. We can read it from a physical perspective and somewhat understand it and get what happened. But there's spiritual messages contained in everything. So we're right at the door. You better wake up. But like I said, RFK Jr., stop this spraying, stop this garbage dumping. What's going on here? If you even get the chance, because I think these people are getting ready to set something off, and that's why we're seeing these drones everywhere. Because I think they're our own equipment, and that's why they're saying they're not dangerous, and they're set up to sense certain chemicals or ingredients or whatever you want to call it, parts to certain types of weaponry and stuff. And I think that's what they're doing, because I'm sure the deep state is getting ready to pull out all the stops. Look, they're cutting down the wall as fast as they can. They're destroying the economy. They've destroyed the automobile industry. If you look at any automobile related videos, they're all getting ready to just go bankrupt again. They're getting just trashed. Okay, he destroyed our economy. He's leaving things. They've been spraying heavier than ever. They're just leaving. They're starting World War III. They've been sowing seeds of division and racism. Every time they get in office, they just pound it and pound it. And when they're not in office, they still pound it, right? But you kind of notice by who's in office. And I'm not saying, because they're both, the right and left wing are wings of the same bird. Understand that. There's a lot of rotten people in there who are not working for us. They're working for the corporations. And that's another big thing. With our food, he's right. The chemicals they put in there are killing us and basically enriching big pharma, because then we have to go take certain pills, which even make us even worse and have to take more pills, be completely on government programs and big pharma and all this, because they're destroying our bodies, our physical bodies. But once you understand what's written in the Bible, you understand what's truly going on in this world. And it ain't what we've been taught by the churches at all. The churches have been teaching us wrongly about what this world actually is. Yeah, it was beautiful, and I wouldn't say perfect, but it was a beautiful paradise when it was first created, but it's decayed, it's fall because of our sin, right? It says it was created by God, but that word God in Genesis 1 is Elohim, right? So understand that word. And in Psalms 82:6 it says, we, all of us, are the Elohim, the builders. We're the builders that rejected the foundation where we came from, the source of all life, truth, and goodness and purity. Wanted to keep this world for ourselves. And God does not force anything on us. Oh, okay, let it go ahead. But we came under condemnation in the law when we were birthed into the flesh. Okay, we became entrapped in these bodies of flesh, the abode of light and darkness. It's our bodies. Our bodies are the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Okay, that's what they are. And we've all partaken of the fruit of it, the sin, the depravity, and everything else. Okay, so we're in a fallen state, and that's why only Christ himself could, God incarnate, come here in the likeness of sinful flesh, because he has to pay in like manner to pay the penalty for all mankind, right? So we can return home when our physical bodies die. So I think we're getting ready to go home, is my point. A big majority of us, and people who are left behind, you better get your head straight and understand that we're not even to fear death, because you're an immortal spiritual being that was created by God himself. Okay, understand that. Okay, this world is temporary. It was a test. It was created for his divine purpose, to give us free will, to do what we want to do, make our own decisions, right? Not be like a robot. Okay, he wants us to love him and accept him, because he loves and accepts us just the way we are. We're to love and accept him. He don't accept our sin and all that had to be paid for, but he himself paid for it. Okay, receive it so you can go home. All right, so there's that. I'm just going to leave that there. A lot of information there without a whole lot of scriptures going on there. But there's so many scriptures out there. My people perish for lack of wisdom. Man, there's just so many things going on right now. You better wake up. So I think it's a very strong possibility these things are ours. That's why they are telling us they're probably not dangerous. But on the other hand, they're looking for something and they don't want to say what it is to put people in a panic mode. And he gave me a vision. Look, he says he never does anything unless he reveals it to his people first, so we can give out a warning. Okay, he reveals it to his people first. And I'm no better than you, but I know he's given me in a vision, in a dream, right, that I saw the East Coast getting wiped out. And it was like a giant tsunami, right, during the winter time that just took out the entire East Coast, caused by some weapon of mass destruction. I'll just put it that way. And I saw that. He let me see it. I saw the frozen body. I was like hovering above it, and I saw the bodies on the ground. And I know for a fact he told me that these evil, wicked people would stop at nothing, even starting World War III, so their evil and wicked ways wouldn't be revealed, because they're so wicked most people can't even imagine how wicked the things these people have done. But you're starting to see with the Diddy and Epstein thing, right? They don't talk about the hundreds and maybe even thousands of children's bones they found in the water all around Epstein Island, right? So imagine what was going on at the other guy's place too. There's a lot going on that most people don't even want to hear. Because I understand it's disturbing, but you better wake up and know the truth. Come to the light of the truth before it's too late. Turn to Jesus Christ. All right, so there's that. God bless you. Show everybody love and respect, because most people, the majority of people, are just blind. They're just lost. Only our bridegroom from above can lift the veil of his bride. We can just plant a seed. Allow yourself to be used for him. We work for him. Okay, so there's that. All right, God bless you and have a great day. Bye.